This call is now being recorded.
We are on the fourth phase of the AICTE-sponsored 6 days online training program on the topic Data Analytics and Supporting Services using Machine Learning. The topic of today's session is learning in human-computer interface. The resource person of the day is Mr. R. Rajkumar, Assistant Professor, CSC, SRM Institute of Science and Technology of Distinguished Kumar, who is working as an Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering at SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai, India. He is passionate on training, writing, research and development. His areas of research interest are artificial intelligence, e-learning technologies, brain-computer interface, and virtual reality. His patent works are published in Intellectual Property India. He has authored a book named India 2030, both in English and Tamil. He has been awarded as one among 100 inspiring authors of India for his book India 2030 at 2018 by Indian Awards, Kolkata. He is awarded as one of the 100 Youth Icon of India 2017 by Gandhi World Foundation, Chennai. We are very proud to have you, sir. I now invite Mr. R. Rajkumar to take over the session, please.
Thank you for the invitation, ma'am. I'm so honored I'm going to present a STTP session today. Thanks for the invitation and thanks for the introduction. So today we are going to see about a very interesting thing, which is the brain-computer interface. So that is actually my area of interest. Is it the screen is visible? Screen is visible, ma'am? Someone? No. Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to present. Let me try once again, ma'am, please. And now, is it the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So my topic is machine learning in human-computer interface. Today is I hope the second day of this FTTP session. First of all, what is a human-computer interface? We know that we are all now, every time we are interacting with the computer, not only the computer science and IT professionals, for everyone, we are interacting with the computer nowadays. But sometimes how the computer can be interacted with us, so that's called actually the one of the agenda for human computer interface.
So
I'm sure that voice and yeah.
The presentation is not
presentation
visible,
is not
sir.
visible. Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you for it.
Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, is it visible now? Is it visible, ma'am?
No, sir.
You're trying to share the screen, but the presentation is not visible.
Oh.
Yes, now it is visible, sir.
Okay, visible.
Yes,
only.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. So these are the gadgets we have in maybe in present we are working it. So how the electronics gadget interface, and apart from that, what is a human computer interface? The human computer interface is the complete uh, many verticals. It has many verticals like computer science and design and cognitive science and psychology, information security and speech just like NLP. So all comes under in a single hub that's called the human computer interface. And between that computer and brain, there is a term called the brain computer interface. So brain computer interface is the fast growing emerging technology in which researchers aim to build a direct channel between the human brain and the computer. So today we are going to see about the complete thing that's called a brain computer interface. It is the device, brain computer interface is a device that enables the communication without any movement. So we can sit in a single place and then we can share whatever our thoughts in the by using the brain computer interface. And brain computer interface is a direct communication pathway between the human or animal brain. So normally we used to always we used to think that the computer is only for the human. No, it's also as well as for the any other plants like crops or anything. We can use it for the the brain computer interface or human computer interface. And it is usually connected to the brain with a system, with a computer system. And BCA can help people to inabilities to control computers. If they say have some kind of physically challenged people or something like we call as different able people, so they can communicate with their atmosphere, in external world by using BCA. They can communicate. So this is a good example how the BCA is, how he has connected with the BCA device, and how he is moved his wheelchair. Now actually we lost him, but he is the legend. Given enormous of thought process. So his life is extended because of the BCI. So normally we used to call the actions is lesser faster than the thoughts. So thoughts always faster than the actions. So actions are mechanical movements and the thoughts are the faster than the actions. So direct interaction with the world through the thoughts will be better and faster. So usage of BCA, there are many usages, and BCA is the new neuroscience paradigm, and it is for better understanding how the human brains are works. And BCA research allows to develop a new class of bioengineering control devices and robots. And BCA hold promise and for the rehabilitation and improving the performances. And BCA can expand the possibilities for advanced computer and human computer interfaces. So we have a two kind of BCA communication. One is the one-way communication, just like a speaker, we are getting it and we are not responding to the by mic. That is a one-way communication. That's a broadcast kind of communication. And normally there is a one-way communication only. We are working it even for BCA devices. We have connected with the BCA devices, and whatever the brain thought process that will be communicated to your device. So that's a one-way kind of BCA device. And two-way BCA device is how the data can be give to the brain. So that is the two-way communication. So brains and external devices can exchange the information in both directions. So that is really complex one, but some successes already emerged in this kind of research. So what are the achievements so far by the brain computer interface? The first one, Matthew Nagel is the first person to restore the functionality lost due to the paralysis. Completely, they are sometimes their brain cells will be completely damaged, so they cannot retrieve their own brain cells. But sometimes at the other end, they can develop a new kind of cells with the new kind of assignments to the process, and then they can develop it. So this is the first research based on the brain gate research. And one of the robot that's called the humanoid won't have demonstrated the experiments by using a brain cells. In the brain commands, if you give the brain commands, then the robot will obey for it. And the remote controlled rat. This is the one of the two type of two-way communication. Likely I said, no, there is a one-way communication and two-way communication. This is a two-way of communication. Two-way communication means whatever the input signals we are giving it, that has to go for the rat's brain. For example, if we are giving the instruction like it should move to left or right, it should go for direct, forward or backward. We can give the instruction, and based on the instruction, the rat will follow that. So that is this actually working for the earthquakes or any other kind of natural disasters. They can use it this kind of rats. So this is not good for actually human, but sometimes it is tested for humans also, but it's very limited. And this is the one of the application called Bionic Eye. So this is also one of the achievement. And from the camera or whatever the video vision, from that the signals will be converted into the the brain receivable signals, and through that the blind can also see the actual atmosphere without natural eye. So this is also in as well as the implementation is also going on, and research also going on for the color. Now they have achieved for black and white images, the grayscale images. Now it is going for RGB like kind of images. And what is it for good? So the new feedback, because if we want to ask some questions for your student or co-faculties, they give some answers. If you are convinced to okay. Okay. Am I audible? Someone has to mute your mic. Hello. Perfect. Okay. So the neurofeedback is it cannot lie. If we want to ask some questions to direct to brain, so that will respond it, and from that response we can trust the response. Okay, because the brain won't lie, but the students, if we are asking some question to students, but they will lie. So neurofeedback is the treating attention, and whatever that if any disorders, if any kind of poor concentration, we can make the kind of neurofeedback approach, and then we can, based on the feedback, we can go for the actual implementation or whatever the need, we can do it. So for that we have multiple sensors. We will see what are the sensors are there. I will give some real-time demo also for that. And people with the little muscle, the control, they should have they should conduct fitted with the EMG sensors. And if some people have spinal injuries, so they also can do the day-to-day work by using the neurofeedback approach. And it is because of there is no, only we have to signal low bandwidth, low getting it. After that we have to multiply, means we have to do for calibration, and then get the actual neurofeedback signal. And the general application is control the robot playing the games, and physically weak persons to handle the computer or wheelchair or anything, and cursor control for exactly with the brain computer interface. We can do the cursor control. And medical system, in terms of medical system, it enable the disabled people for vision, hearing, senses, different senses are for linked with our brain. So brain is the, even for our walking and what, everything is controlled by the brain. So if we can control, if we can get the signals from the brain, then we can control the objects from the external world. So that is the actual human computer interface. So we are going to study about the most complex living structure in the world, that's called the brain. So brain is about 1.5 kilograms and 78% of water and 10% of fat and 8% of protein, less than 2.5% of the body of weight, and it uses 20% of the body's energy. uh, Whomever, maybe if you are thinking or not thinking, so still we can, our energy will be giving to the brain to nearly 20%, even for our sleeping also. And people only use the 10% of the brain. I am not sure, because there is no actual parameters how much brain actually we are using it. But sometimes there is a threshold, and 100 billion neurons are there in our brains, and 1 trillion glial cells are there, and 1,000 trillion sympathetic connections within the brain cells is connected, and 280 content memories are there. So why I am telling this many facts? Or if any big data, we can easily, we can get the what is the data is available, how much GB and how much MB or whatever, we can easily measure it. But brains for a single person or even for child also, we cannot get actually what is there inside. How many neurons? Still, this is everything is a fraction. I mean, it's just a fiction, not is a fraction. Okay. And also one more kind of facts about the brain. Brain is modified by the environment. Brain is can adaptable, and there are two kind of operations. One is a left and right side. So left side, whatever the controls can be do by the right side brain, and right side control can be done by the left side brain. So that's what the paralyzed, if some people got the paralyzed, some damage in the right side brain, so the left part will be deactivated. So these are the common facts, probably you know it already. And this is the two kinds of brain cells. Normally we used to call the brain cells is always neurons, but there is a one more cell that's called gila. Gila means it's a glue. From the Greek word it is referring. So it is the 90% of the brains, because it is not actually communicated, and it is not actually doing some other great thing. Anyway, it is the link between the neurons. And no cell body remove the dead blood cells, and it is giving the sexual support for the neurons. So neurons is the nearly 100 billion neurons in a human brain. Neurons essential to performing the brain's work, and it consists of the compact cell body. So whatever the operations we are performing, that is the connectivity between the neurons. And there is a electrical signals. I mean, we cannot take it as a we cannot consider it as electrical signals, but it is very less electrical signals. It is communicating between the neurons. So there are electrical pulse transmitted across the system. I mean, sympathetic gap between the neurons to the other chemicals called neurotransmitters. Just like a wire in our physical world, in our brain there is a physical transmitter. Through that we can access the brain. And learning is the critical functions of the neurons. So learning means learning from our atmosphere, from our sight, and for whatever we are hearing it. So everything is the doing by the neurons. So that is called a learning. And these are the other cells which is not actually in our agenda. So I'm just telling that this is the nerve cells and neurons. These are the sympathetic the sympathetic density. What is that actually? For neurons, this is a structure, probably you know, right? And for 2 years old baby, this is the structure of the that this much complex. For 6-year-old children, this is the actually the structure of the density. So how complexly it is attached. So that much complex that the thought process and the thinking process and cognitive, and also the memory will be there. And these are the common lobes of the brain. Why I am concentrated on this much for the brain anatomy? Because we have to go in deep. What are the actually signals we want? And based on the signals, for example, if we want to raise our hands, so for that one part of the brain only will work. And if you want to speak, really one part of the brain only will give the signal. So whatever the actual parts, from where actually the signals are coming, Then we can trace the signal, and then we can do the duplication, and we can do the bypass thing, and we can do the process. So for that only I'm just explaining this much anatomy of the brain parts. There are the frontal lobe and parental lobe and occupational lobe and temporal lobe. So these are the operations for the different brains. So frontal lobe brain is located deep into the frontal bone of the skull. So it is responsible for memory formation, emotions, decision making, and reasoning, and also the personality. And for this the parental lobe, it's for senses and integrate the senses and spatial awareness and perceptions. And these are the occupational, occipital lobe. That's for the primary functions of the processing, integrating, and interpretation, and also vision and visual similarities. So this occipital lobe is the connected directly to our eye. So that's for vision and integration. And for the temporal lobe, that's for hearing, organizing, and information retrieval, for the memory and memory information. So if someone we got some problem or injury in this part, so the memory will lose. Okay, so this is the common parts of the brain. And the left and right side, left side brain will be working for logical, sequential, rational, analytical, objective, and looks at the parts. So these are the look at part means the other any one part only it can take in account. Then right side brain means random and intuitive and holistic and synthesizing subject, and also looks at the whole. So whole part it can take it for the right side brain. So these are the things more and more if we want to have a, what actually it is operating. That is because the brain is the most complex. We found nearly 10 to 20% of the operations whatever the brain does, and we have to do lot of research on what actually inside of the brain. So these are the common agendas. What actually the left brain is responsible for letters, numbers, and words, and right brain is responsible for the faces and places and objects. So this is the overall thing. Okay, now actually how the sensors can be connected to the motor signals. So motor signals means whatever the activities we are doing it. So activities means sometimes we for leg or thumb or face or limbs or tongue or whatever the activities we are doing it, and based on the activity how much brain actually it takes as a, how much process is doing it. So this is the image. So normally we used to do the lot of process in our by our mouth and eye and also ear, and many time after that there is a many operation by hand and leg. So these are the most performing parts of our brain, with respect to the brain. So these are the normal operation. Even for a driver also they used to enable with their eye and hand, also leg. So for a simple driver or teacher or student, so these are the most usage of the brain by using sensory signals. Sensory motor signals means, so these signals are giving for the connections of the activeness. So from the brain signals we can activate our we can control and activate our movements. So that is for the sensory and motor steps. So what are the activities are there? So from the, if we are scanning that brain, so whatever the activity, you can see that the red is the actual activity place, and completely we have red and yellow. These are the active people. That is actually there is a supply, power supply is there, and these parts, especially the blue part, is not activity. Doesn't have any activity, and that green one is it can activate. So these are the 3 or 4 colors. We can see that activities of the brain. So this, up to this we have seen something like how the anatomy of the brain, and now we are going to see about how the BCI is working. That's a brain-computer interface. So electrodes collect electrical signals or electrical impulse and patterns. So electrode means something we can put into our scalp and even through our head, completely our head, we can fix it. And it is amplifying the signal approximately 10,000 times. Are you getting it? So if it is a 1 amp, we have to amplify into 1 into 10,000. So then only we can receive the signal and we can process it anything else. And it is turn these signals into the machine, a machine understandable language, maybe zeros and ones or any kind of signals, and then the computer can translate. This is the process about. Now the how to read the bright signals. I mean, this is thing only we are brain signals. There are two methods. One is invasive technology. For that, doctors also needed for that because they have to remove the skin of the scalp and then they can fix it inside. But it is dangerous for a human. So sometimes it will tested with the animals or birds. But we as a human, that is this is the one is a preference with these non-invasive techniques, which maybe the out of the scan. So MRI or this kind of scanning also we can do it. Otherwise, we can do the sensors mounting caps or advanced read of the to read the brain signals. And sometimes we use a partial invasive technique for some people may have some kind of brain damage, so they should have at least some sensors will be fixed into the near to the brain, not actually inside of the brain. So this is the basic block diagram of the BCI. When is the signal acquisition from the brain, then we can go for a feature extraction and translation. So the machine learning part actually we are using for the feature extraction. So if we are doing the feature extraction, then we can easily perform the after the translation. After that, BCI application can we do it. Then invasive BCI. So invasive BCI we already I told you what is the invasive BCI. Invasive means we have to fix into the integral part of the brain, and after that we can fix. And partially invasive means then we can get it's outside of the head, we can fix it and then we can getting it. That's called non-invasive BCI. So these are the things are there, non-invasive BCI. Okay, physical mechanism means EEGs require electrodes to adapt the skull with stitchy gels. Okay, I will be giving you the small demo how actually the non-invasive BCI is working. These are the electrodes or can place. So you can see that F means frontal lobe and T means temporal lobe and C means center and O means occupational lobe. So these are the actual places we can fix the electrodes. This is the international standard. After many research, they have found this. It's a standard of 10 to 20 system. It's a standard of 10 to 20 system. We can fix maximum electrodes in our scalp and throughout the head. So A1 here is referred to the neutral, because if we are in our tradition, we used to have the ornament in our ear and nose. That is why, because in our ear and nose is absolutely there is a zero signal. There is no electricity. I mean, there is no process on that. So for that, it is taking the reference from the ear or nose. Normally in our EEG signals, we refer from the ear signal. From the ear, it's a completely zero. If any other activity that may go for one or whatever the signals, and for that we can compare the signals and we can take out. So that is the process of the why the ear signals also needed. Ear means it's a completely zero, otherwise it's a neutral signal. So these are the other methods for to collect the and extract of the techniques. One is the EEG, which actually we are going to see it, and electrocardiography, which is for heart measurement, MEG for magneto, that's for our muscle movement, and blood oxygen level dependent, that's for gold. Nowadays for corona patients, and we now the the medical shops it is available. So how much the blood oxygen is there? About nearly now it is become 500 to 6,000. 500 to 600 rupees also it came about the blood oxygen level monitor. An MRI, that's for magnetic resonance imaging. So there is also, these are the different the devices and techniques we can measure the brain and its activities. Now what is the EEG? EEG means it's a encephalogram. So it is the approximation. We cannot have the exact value of it, but we can at least we can get without any with the multiple electrodes inexpensive, because we are using the non-invasive only. We are not placing into the brain. We just have the small cap and then we can getting it. So this is the EEG background. From the 1875, nearly 150, almost 150 years before they have started, and still it is an under research. So why I am considering this EEG? So EEG is upcoming technology, and also it is it should have the more research on this. For example, in we are transforming into the 4G to 5G. So if you are publishing the 5G papers, if we do some research and if you are publishing the 5G papers as an academician, and that papers can be implementable, and otherwise we also can implement. So that kind of features after everything, after 5G features and everything, then whenever the 5G is coming into the actual market or commercialization, then whatever research we have contributed, that can be integrated with that research. So that is what EEG is now the emerging technology. Now only it is because after IoT revolution, after the industry 4.0, now we comes under the completely virtual thing. Now the EEG is playing the main and vital role. So we can do the research in EEG that can be implementable for the commercialization. Okay, these are the EEG techniques for the brain. There are many softwares and hardwares are available for our to sense our activities. These are the normal 5 types of the EEG waves. One is the delta waves, theta waves, alpha, beta, gamma, and these are the operations. The usage for these different waves. One is a delta for occurring the sleep. Only at the time of the sleep or coma, we used to generate the delta. In the sleep, not a coma. Okay, and for theta, so whenever we are sad or disappointment, we used to generate the theta. And alpha is thinking or overthinking, and that kind of thing is especially for analytical. That's where we are generating the alpha signal. And for beta, beta is it's small activities, learning or listening, otherwise watching movie. So this comes under the beta signals. And mu is the intention of movement. Mu is something like a motor context. So if you want to take any object from outside environment, then we generate the mu signal. That's for motor cortex. And for gamma is for multitasking activities. So someone can do the writing in 2 hands at the same time. So this kind of any multitasking activities. Nowadays, students are doing multitasking activities. They are listening in classes as well as they are playing the movie. They're seeing the movie, they are hearing the songs. So this everything comes under the gamma. Okay, now we will go inside of the what actually. Okay, these are the we already seen. These are the actual operations performed by the different signals emitted by the brain, but this is not actually the limit. Still, there is so much of we have to discover what are the other activities are performing, what are the other brain signals are there. Still, whatever we as per our researchers, these are the only the signals which we found it. and mu waves and mu and beta waves. So this is the only I am mentioning it. What are the actual frequency range and when it was found, and these are the things I have found. I'm just mentioning it. Okay, next one is the hardware components. So I just go through what are the hardware components, then we will go for the live demo. And hardware components, there is a neuro chip. Neuro chip is actually we can embed it into the brain. That's a, I mean, the for doctor is needed to embed it into the brain. And these are the connectors. And converter means whatever the signal that's for DSP, the digital signal processing is needed. Whatever the sensor is, found the data or capturing the data, so it can be converted into the maybe analog to digital or digital to analog. Otherwise, we can enhance the signals, we can boost up the signals. Otherwise, we can amplify the signals. So that process is there for a converter. And computer is the computing devices as well as for visualization. And we used to have the computer. And BCA examples, there are more examples are there for using BCI, or especially for hearing music. We can tap one song to other song by our mood. Happy songs will be played if you are happy, neutral songs will be played. So like that, there is an application at 1987 they found this kind of application. Okay, so now this is the complete structure of the BCA application. Just stop sharing my screen. Am I visible? Okay. So now you may see that this is the BCA sensor, and I just fixed it with a small battery with 1.5 volt. 1.5 volt normal battery. Now I just switch on the device, which you can see the light on that. So now I can fix the BCA devices in my SCAR. Okay, now so now the BCA device is actually fixed in my SCAR. Now I just taking my mobile, and this is a Bluetooth enabled BCA devices. So now in my mobile, I just switch on the receive the whatever my brain activity. I'm going to receive it. This is the one of the commercialized BCA device. Am I connected? I think yes. So this is one of the commercialized BCA application. Small demo. Probably you can see that in a screen. In my screen, there is a small application like Little Buddha. So connect. So it is going to connect. Even for your I mean the same kind of devices, so that I am sharing everything. But so this is trying once again. This is the front lobe I am connected. I have connected in the front lobe. This is the front lobe is generating. If I concentrate or if I do some kind of meditation, so the signals will be generated here. So these are the 3 devices. Some patience is needed for to connect the devices. After that, we can easily get the signals. So through this application, we can do the even how much we are learned. Student, how much they are, whether in learning, whether they are really interested or not. So this kind of measurement also we can do it for the suitable app. Okay, so anyway, now the so the thing is, whenever I give some concentration, the thing, am I connected? Okay. So this is the flower. So we can move either we can make the flower to flourish. So okay. So anyway, I will be sharing my screen, which is already recorded the data. So we just see the data. Probably you can see the data which I have recorded and I have mailed the data. I am downloading it. So we can get the CSV file data. Okay, the data sets maybe the in CSV file. So you could see that this is actually recorded by this normal brainwave kit, which is the NeuroSky, and I have the different signals. So this is a timestamp when it was recorded, and if it is the power signal, it will give the number. If it is a no power signal, then it is a 0, and it's the EEG raw value. Raw value means each is a volt, and the raw value is after the I mean the after the process of the raw value. So how much volt actually it is generating, and what is the attention I am giving it, and what is the actual meditation, and whether I blinked my eye or not. And these are the delta waves and theta waves, and alpha low and alpha high, beta low, beta high, gamma low, gamma high. And if you want to tag the event, for example, we can tag like we can tag it, and based on the location also we can locate it. So this is about nearly 10 minutes I have recorded. This is the one more interesting point. Before I am getting into the sleep, I just fixed my devices and then I slept. And after 5 to 10 minutes, I woke up and then disconnected the devices. And up to that, I have recorded it. So probably the 42 is the blink. So if I didn't blink it because I'm sleeping, I didn't blink it. So this is a 42 range completely. You can see that everything is 42. Okay, whenever my eyes is closed, and before actually my when before getting into sleep, I just uh, thought the numbers from actually the from 100 to 1. I'm just counting the number within my heart. So at the time, whenever I am just thought some number, so this will be generated. Are you getting my point? So whenever I am just thinking of any number, a small signals will be generated. Maybe the alpha signals will be generated whenever I am engaging with some thought process. So we can see that, right? But actually we cannot decrypt it. But anyway, there is a small variation is there. And now these 3 seconds I didn't think anything. Okay, so I'm just completely I'm not thinking anything. So these are the different. See, you can see that lot of parameters, lot of values. For a 1 second also we are generating nearly even for 1 nanometer also we can get the values. Now actually this is for each and every second we are getting this many values. So this is only for the 5 minutes of the timeline. Timeline is only for 5 minutes. You can see that 1946 seconds only I have recorded. So like this, there are many application. You can actually take the actual data sets about the 5 minutes only. This much data we can getting it. So after that, we do the processing for the, what actually we need it. For example, we need the delta signal or theta or alpha. Based on the operation, we can get the that signal only. We can filter that signal only. And if any errors are there, for example, sometimes zeros are also available. So 0 is not at all available. Then only the zeros are available. If it is well connected, every time actually our brain is working and our brain is actually producing lot of signals. So whenever the 0 is available, we can take away. That is actually for pre-processing. Then we can use the signals. So we can continue for our. Whether the slide is visible, ma'am? Yes. Okay, okay, thank you. So this is the actual BCA device. So now you can see that there is a electrode that's called a sensor, and after that we can go for amplification. Amplification is doing by the sensor itself nowadays. And after that feature recue can move. So deep learning is the we can implement whatever the application we want by using the BCI. These are the applications are the students are consciousness and depth of the anesthesia, and fatigue and mental workload, and mood and emotions, and learning,